see other states are going to be. And they're dealing with the same thing we are. I mean, we're all in trouble. And they're dealing a little differently over in Wisconsin than we're doing here, but it really does tell you something, though, that government has got to start paying attention. Should have been paying attention to start with, and we need to address these costs that are just insurmountable and unsustainable. And everybody's got to be part of the solution, and we should not be running away from those decisions. And I don't think that's going to happen in Minnesota. I don't think anybody's going to run away from the capital. From the capital. Remains to be seen, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Is North Dakota the only state in the nation that's running
surplus?
In the surplus?
I think there's two, isn't there?
I think there's a second one.
Yeah, I think it's Alaska.
They got tremendous resources too.
Yeah, Alaska probably.
Yeah.
Where do our pension liability funds stand? Is that a problem for Minnesota?
Yes, yeah, it is. There's and I read that from the Heritage Council or Heritage organization here some time ago, a think tank, conservative think tank. Minnesota was one of the better ones. However, we're still going to be in trouble if we don't address it.
So we have unfunded liabilities there.
There's going to be, and what we have to do is similar to what we wanted to do last year, knowing this was coming, is we wanted new state employees, and counties can jump on suit as well to participate with more money into their own funds and let them do their own investing, things like that. Or otherwise, we're going to be in trouble.
It comes down to they're going to have to contribute more or take less increases out year after year.
And we're down from double digit, and I can talk about para, the cops that I used to work with years ago, back in the late '80s, when the money was good, and in the investments, the state of Minnesota let them go ahead with double-digit increases in retirement pension. My goodness. I mean, they were smiling, but at the same time, they should have been hanging on to something.
So all these pensions are guaranteed.
And they were guaranteed when they signed on.
Defined benefit?
Defined benefit.
Defined benefit.
Yeah. Versus a defined, some movement is going to defined contribution where the state would just do like any business. You put in, you match 50% of the retirement fund, but whatever the fund does, you either ride up or down with the market.
What's that called again?
Defined contribution.
Defined contribution.
Versus defined benefit.
Well,
and the difference is, think of it as, you define how much you contribute up front is a defined contribution. A defined benefit is you're guaranteed or a defined amount you get in the end, no matter how much you put in the front end.
Right. Oh,
Representative Westrom, this is Kathy Dahl again, and as I mentioned, I'm on the Lake Region Arts Council. May I paraphrase you? You reassured me when we were just informally chatting. You said that the legacy funds, because they are constitutionally protected, were you telling me not to worry, to be calm about it, to sleep well, or something like that? I know Senator Ingebrigtsen.
Oh, we don't want you to sleep well either. We're not sleeping very good.
No, Senator Ingebrigtsen, you're on
I'm
that
on the
big.
list hard.
Yeah. So is that? I don't want to paraphrase you, Representative.
What I'm referring to is when we passed that legacy amendment.
Boy, that's a lot of pennies.
That portion of the money is carved out in the Constitution Fund that is dedicated to those arts and cultural heritage projects. That part of it, there isn't much wiggle room, and the government can't go and grab that $20 million or whatever the number is and say, oh, we're going to backfill welfare program or something.
Can't really be rated.
Right.
That's right. And
now there is arts. There are art general fund dollars that fund the arts. Those could be reduced as part of a full budget, but most budgets don't have a constitutional dedicated account that kind of protects their little interest, if you will.
So some of the other arts representatives have probably mentioned here that for these other arts funds that are not constitutionally protected, we realize we will have to take some cuts in that area. And of course the arts community would rather not be, you know, cut more than other areas, maybe a little bit, but not
Fair share.
80%, something like that. So I've had my say, and others may. Anything you'd like to add, Senator Ingebrigtsen,
Well, I
since
think-
you're on
I think you're gonna see big cuts to that, the ones that aren't dedicated.
Minnesota State Arts Board and,
Yeah, I think you're gonna see some of that, but, you know, it was the will of the people in 2008 to put those dollars forward, and they went into the booth to vote on that, and something we have to respect. The environment seems to have always gotten attention. However, one of the first things I found out when I went down there 4 years ago was the scratch-off dollars. Everybody thinks that every dollar that you purchase, it's gonna go to that pretty little loon that's floating around in the lake. That's not the case. That's been robbed and robbed and robbed over the years. In fact, I think it's 77 cents on every dollar. So we gotta be careful, and I think I didn't do a lot of work on the constitutional amendment. I did more work on putting together the committee after it was done. In fact, I didn't think it would have passed, to be very honest with you. But it did, so we put together the committee ahead of time. But, we have to be very mindful not to be, I mean, the Constitution says it has to go to where it's gonna go. But right now, that's one of the only sources of income coming into the state.
if we keep buying things, so there'll be some
Buying
sales tax.
land is a big issue. It
But I
really
mean,
is.
the sales tax, we need to purchase things from businesses too, so there'll be, well, thank you both, thank you.